Please participate, give us your input and feedback. I know our student government will be supportive, and I, in turn, and our cabinet will work as partners with student government to make sure that we do the best we can for you. Thank you all very much, and go Mean Green!
Thank you. Our next speaker for the night is the Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Elizabeth With.
Okay, I'm not as tall, so this has to come down. Hi everybody, glad to be here tonight and glad to talk a little bit about the Division of Student Affairs and what Troy asked me to talk a little bit about what our focus will be. And most of you, I think, know that the Division of Student Affairs exists to serve all of you, to help you all be successful. And while there are many things happening across the 20-something units and almost 700 employees that are part of the Division of Student Affairs, I wanted to highlight a few things that we've identified that we want to work on for the upcoming year. And they all fit into 5 basic areas. But they all are involved, or all planned to make sure that you all can be successful. The first one relates to removing barriers to success and providing services and programs that allow that to happen. And a couple of areas of focus for us will be in these. One is graduate students. Are we doing what we should be doing for our graduate students from a program and service perspective? In order to make sure we do that, we'll be doing a needs assessment, a survey that will be going out to our graduate students in the upcoming future. We're working with the Graduate Student Council, and that survey should be going out to those students sometime later this fall. We'll utilize that data to determine what our next steps should be in serving our graduate students. We'll be doing something similar along those same lines and working with our online students, our distance ed students. They pay fees as well, and it's important that we're able to provide the services to those students. And so look for us to be able to program for them and provide more options for them. We're looking at the transition from a first-time in college student to being a freshman, from a high school student to being a freshman, as well as a transfer student coming onto campus. We know there's transition issues, but there's also transition issues from being a freshman to a sophomore and all the way up until you graduate. And so we want to make sure that we have a curriculum, if you will, designed for the transition between those years and making sure that that transition is smooth for all of our students and that the expectations are understood and what the responsibilities are for those students. We have a wealth of alumni in this area, and they have a great deal of expertise that they can provide to you as students. Our hope is to be able to involve as many alumni as possible within our programs and services so that you can capitalize on that involvement. One area specifically that we're working on this year in cooperation with UNT 40 is our Executive Leadership Development Council. And we're actually identifying ultimately up to about 30 folks that are prominent in business and industry and nonprofit organizations across the Metroplex and bringing them to campus. And not only having them lecture for our students and talk to them about their successful path, but we're going to utilize them as an advisory committee on what they need and what they look for in graduates, what they look for in hiring students, to make sure that we can work on incorporating those types of skills into the development program and process for our students. Additionally, you can see a great deal of construction going on campus, and you can credit the Division of Student Affairs for most of that. This wonderful, well, it's not a monstrosity, I suppose, but it will be your union and open next August. And we're really looking forward to that building, that facility opening. That facility is being constructed based upon input from students. The students decided they wanted a new union. It's been a student-led project all along, and so I'm looking forward to what it will look like when it opens and be reflective of what you all need. What we heard from students was that the other union did not serve its purpose, did not serve the needs of our students in being able to study and being able to meet and being really the living room of the institution. And so when that opens next August, I think you will see that it definitely does. We're in construction for a new residence hall, Rollins Hall, a new honors residence hall that's under construction over by the Gateway. It's a 500-bed facility that will also open next August. There are a couple of things that we want to focus on from a facility perspective as well. I wouldn't think that I would be saying this about our university, about our Student Rec Center. It only opened 10 years ago. Also a student-led project, by the way. SGA helped make sure that was built. But with 10 years comes aging to that facility and needs to that facility. So we need to identify what those needs are and a way to fund them for the future. The same is true for our health center, our Student Health and Wellness Center. It opened about 7 years ago. It too is looking at our future and what needs will that particular facility have. As well as our Gateway and Coliseum. We're working in conjunction with our finance and business area to make sure that that Coliseum is reflective of the needs of our campus. We ask students, our admitted students, every year what they think about the university. We call it the Admitted Student Questionnaire, and there's data and feedback that we have from that particular questionnaire that relates to facilities, to our housing facilities, the welcoming environment to our campus, and we're going to utilize that data to program and provide modify our housing structures in a way that's more appealing to those admitted students. We've got some accessibility issues that we know we need to deal with, and so there's an ADA group that's looking at that, and Student Affairs will cooperate and collaborate with that particular group, as well as transgender issues. Every facility that's coming online with the union on, we are ensuring that there will be bathrooms available for our transgender students, individualized bathrooms. We've actually gone back as well to about 16 of our facilities on campus and retrofitted bathrooms to make sure that they are available and meet the needs of our transgendered students. That's but a few of the facilities issues that we're focusing on for the upcoming year. The President mentioned enrollment and how important it is, and it's obviously an area of focus for us, and so we'll continue to focus on enrollment, and what we can do are the materials that we provide meeting the needs of our prospective students. Are they appealing to our prospective students to entice them, that really tell the story of UNT and what we have to offer to them? We want to make sure that they're reflective. We want to make sure that our financial aid packaging and verification meets the needs of our students. Is it fast enough? Is the process working? And do we need an outside entity to help us with that? We don't know yet, but we're going to look into that this year. We need to advertise more. The word of UNT needs to be out and amongst the community more than it is now. And we'll also be conducting some focus groups to understand why students don't come to UNT. Why don't they choose us as their campus? To make sure that we can figure out ways to compensate for why they don't choose us. We'll be preparing students for career success. We know that you all come here. We know that you love us and you come here, but we don't want you to stay forever. We want you graduating in 4 years and moving on to that career of choice. And so we want to integrate that career path earlier on, as early in their lifespan as we can. We did some things with our first time in college students this year before they came to orientation called My Plan Online. And we'll be doing more of that, making sure that we can help students to find their career path earlier on so that that 4-year graduation makes more sense to them. I talked about the skills, making sure that we allow you to develop the skills that you need, that employers are looking for, and we'll continue to do more of that. And we want to make sure that you have that professionalism that you need in order to be the students that are sought after. We want employers picking you over the Aggies and the Longhorns and everybody else around the state of Texas. And finally, we're going to focus on our staff within the Division of Student Affairs, because they can't focus on you if their needs aren't being met. We've got a couple of surveys that we're working on for our staff, one through our Staff Development Committee. What professional development programs do they need? What education do they need to be able to provide the resources and to be able to serve you in the way that they need to? We also have a climate survey that's out, making sure that we are maintaining a diverse staff, a staff that's reflective of our student population. We want to recruit those staff, but we also know it's important that we create an environment where our diverse staff feel welcomed and they feel embraced and they want to stay here. And so this climate survey, we feel like, is going to be able to give us some good data to be able to create that. We want to listen to our staff and make sure that there's concerns, that we hear them and that we are able to respond to them. And so we've got a staff feedback form that's gone live this particular semester. There's a lot happening with the Division of Student Affairs, more than just what I've listed here. But our purpose and goal is to serve you, our students. That's why we get to work every day, and honestly, that's why we come every day. You're what give us our energy and our drive to be on campus. So we look forward to serving you this upcoming year, and Troy, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about student affairs. Thank you all.